Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Global Coherence Day. It's our third annual Global Coherence Day. My name is Teresa Collins, and I'm really excited to welcome you to this special Pulse event in celebration of Global Coherence Day, August 1st, 2021. I'm really excited to see so many people joining us again from all over the world. We have France and Austria. We have oh gosh, Germany. We have all over the United States. Just so exciting to see so many people from all around the world. And many of you here on Zoom, we had over 2,000 people register for this call today. We're also streaming live to Awake TV and to Facebook, Unify, and the Global Coherence page. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day today to join us and pulse the field with our heart-centered coherence. It really makes a difference. And today is a special day to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as a start for today, just so that we can look back at some of the other Global Coherence Day events that we've had so far. There we go. So our first Global Coherence Day event was on 2019. And this was during a live event at 1440 Multiversity. And it was a real collaborative endeavor with many different organizations, including Unify and HeartMath. And we all came together to create this beautiful event, which we had people in person and we live streamed, and we did our Global Coherence Day meditation for the first time. We had a beautiful stage. Rollin McCraty was with us. Gregg Braden was with us. He came over Zoom. We had a fantastic time, and we really experienced the power of our collective coherence, both in the room and the people that joined us virtually from all around the world. And that first Global Coherence Day really gave birth to the Global Coherence Pulse, which is a citizen science initiative to pulse the planet with heart coherence. And in 2025, we had over 2020, we had 25 pulse events that we did. So we've really been building the field. And we partnered with many organizations, all committed to bringing more love and coherence into the planet. Our second Global Coherence Day, August 1st, 2020, we weren't able to do a live event in person because of COVID. So we had a very special day where we had three pulse events, one in the morning, claiming our coherence. In the afternoon, we had Nassim Harriman joining us to really talk about the science behind our coherence pulses. And in the evening, we had a Soul Salon celebration with Jess Magic, who also joined us in our first Global Coherence Pulse event. And that wasn't enough. We followed that event by a month-long experience with many of our Pulse partners, where we really got to deepen our understanding and our practice and our embodiment of heart-centered coherence. That gave birth to our Islands of Coherence network, where we wanted it not just to be where you were, participating silently with the pulses, but that you could connect with one another. You could introduce yourself, share projects, and connect in small breakout groups. And really, that was the birth of our Islands of Coherence social network, really a place where we can continue to deepen our practice. So each one of our Global Coherence Day pulses has birthed more and more opportunities for us to come together. In the spring equinox of 2021, we actually joined with partners all around the world during World Water Day and World Water Week. So we began to pulse the waters of the planet as well. And that equinox was 1 year anniversary from our first pulse on spring equinox 2020. So we've really been building the field over time. and doing a lot in partnership. We joined Saturday Night Alive many times during 2020 and 2021 to bring this awareness of the power of our coherence pulsing on the planet. We recently partnered with World Unity Week and did 8 pulses over 8 days. And really, we've been building the field. You can feel it. Many of you were on those sessions. If you were on any of these sessions I'm describing, please let us know in the chat. And thank you so much for continuing to come. It really makes a difference. And so here we are today with our Global Coherence Pulse Day, a very, very special one. The Synchronized Meditation and Community Gathering, we decided this is hosted by the Global Coherence Pulse in the Islands of Coherence. And we decided that today was an important day to really feature HeartMath Institute and the Global Coherence Initiative, really the founders, I feel, of this science of the heart, and really helping us to have the tools and the resources, the understanding we need to effectively pulse the planet with our heart coherence. So we are excited to have Gregg Braden with us, Claudia Wells, Rollin McCraty, Howard Martin, Deborah Rozman. All of these are part of the steering committee of the Global Coherence Initiative and part of the core faculty. And of course, we have Manose Newa with us today as our musical guest. So we're really excited about this. And it was a special day to bring on HeartMath and GCI also because they are launching today their Global Tree Monitoring Project, which is really exciting. We've been talking about for a while, and it's here, and you're going to hear more about that. And I really want to also thank our broadcast partners, Unify. We're out on Unified Facebook today, Awake TV, the Sign Network, and also our friends over at Earth Dance TV. So thank you so much for helping us to get the word out and share this important work with so many others. So this is a 90-minute session. We'll have some opening remarks with Gregg and Claudia and Rollin, and we'll launch that tree monitoring project in our first half hour. And then we'll move into our synchronized coherence meditation. We'll have some music. We'll have some reflections and announcements. And then if you'd like to stay on after the main event, we're going to have some optional breakout group time for community connection. So that's optional if you'd like it. So just to set a context, if we believe that small clusters of humanity living in heart-centered coherence can help shift the tide from a world fed by fear to a world fueled by love, then exploring, cultivating, experiencing, and embodying this capacity becomes a worthy pursuit. And that is what we're doing here today. That is what we do each month on our Global Coherence Pulses. That is what we are doing in our Islands of Coherence Network. And your presence today has an impact and makes a difference, because together we are pulsing the field and generating a tsunami of love. Let's create a tsunami of love today as we move into our Global Coherence Day experience. So I'm super excited to be able to introduce our friend Gregg Braden. Get my camera on. Get a little sticky today. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Gregg so we can get started with our pulse today. Gregg is a 5-time New York Times bestselling author, scientist, and pioneer in the emerging paradigm bridging science, social policy, and human potential. His research has led to 15 film credits, 22 award-winning books now published in over 40 languages, and he has a 2020 nominee of the prestigious Templeton Prize, created by Sir John Templeton to recognize living individuals who have harnessed the power of science to explore the deepest questions of the universe and humankind's place and purpose in it. He has presented his discoveries in over 34 countries on 6 continents and has been invited to speak to the United Nations, Fortune 500 companies, and the US military. Gregg is a member of scientific and visionary organizations, including the American Association for Advanced Science, the Laszlo Institute of New Paradigm Research, the Galileo Institute, the Institute of HeartMath Global Coherence Initiative, the Arling Institute, as well as other signatory of the 2017 Fuji Declaration, the international call to collectively catalyze a timely shift in the course of human history. And I would also just add a personal note on Gregg. I feel like he's one of the most gracious men on the planet. I really, really so appreciate you being with us here today, Gregg, to launch us off on our Global Coherence Day. Let's go to Gregg.
Oh, thank you so much, Teresa, for that warm welcome, for the beautiful introduction, and for the context, helping us all to understand what those islands of coherence are all about, and laying the foundation for precisely why this day is so very special, this Global Coherence Day. So I'm going to begin with just that. I want to welcome everyone to Global Coherence Day. I just have to say it feels really, really good to be with you all today in our virtual community. I'm so honored to share this virtual stage with people who've just dedicated their lives, their energy, their effort, their intellect, and made the sacrifices in the lives they have to bring us to the understandings that we now have about the potential of global coherence, what it means in our lives, what it means in our world, what it can mean in our world, and where we can take this internal technology that tells us beyond any reasonable doubt, the science that tells us we are part of rather than separate from the world that we see, and that we have the ability to influence in a powerful, beautiful, positive way the way that this world unfolds. That's what today is all about. I want to come at this just from a little bit different perspective. I know if you're with us today, you're probably on board with the idea of global coherence. You're on board with the idea of heart-brain coherence. The techniques and the science have been pioneered through the Institute of HeartMath, but I'm still getting requests. I get emails and people stop me in the airports and at conferences and say, how did this whole thing start? You know, where did the idea even come from that humans could possibly influence the magnetic fields of an entire planet? And it's a really good question, and it's the answer to that question that fires me up. It's the answer to this question that tells me beyond any reasonable doubt of the power that we have, the potential that we have to influence the outcome of the events in our lives and our world in a really good way. And I'm using that word intentionally, to influence, not to control, not to manipulate, but to influence the way that we work together to solve our problems, the way that we work together to cooperate. You know, when I was in school back in the 1950s, 1960s, early 1970s, studying, I was a child scientist, and then I became an adult scientist. And throughout that time, I was taught that our relationship to the planet we live on was minuscule, that we are so insignificant as beings, we could never really do anything to influence this planet. All that began to change in the 80s and the 90s when science began to tell us that, in fact, the magnetic fields of the Earth actually do have an effect on life in general and humans specifically, that the magnetic fields can influence our heart rate variability. They can influence our blood pressure. They can influence cycles of cooperation or cycles of aggression and much, much more. This is a very radical way of thinking about our relationship to the Earth, that somehow the Earth could influence us. Our relationship to the magnetic field tells the story. Bottom line is this: when the magnetic fields of the Earth are stronger, we become more cooperative, less aggressive, more willing to work together to solve our problems. It's a beautiful thing. And just the reverse is true when the magnetic fields are weak. We are more aggressive when the magnetic fields are weak. Perhaps not surprisingly, it may not surprise you to know that we are, in fact, in a cycle of magnetic intensity on the planet that is 2020 was the bottom of that cycle, the weakest point of that cycle. It's directly linked to the sun and to the solar cycles that we're all very familiar with. So what that means is that we are now living in a time, and I'll be very clear, we're not slaves to the magnetic cycle, but we are vulnerable, we are susceptible to their influence. And when we understand that, we can transcend that And it gives us the opportunity to communicate even more clearly and to solve our problems on a deeper level. So GCI emerged asking the question, is it possible that we can create that focus intentionally from our hearts, heart-brain coherence, feeding the magnetic field that connects all things? Every blade of grass, every dog, every cat, every CEO of every corporation, every leader of every nation, there is no them and us when it comes to this field. There's only we, and we have the potential. We are wired to feed this field consciously, at will, on demand, with positive, uplifting energy based upon positive human emotion like gratitude, like care, like compassion, appreciation. That's what this project is really all about. So the Global Consciousness Project, those sensors, they're still out there, but now another level of sensors has been developed by HeartMath, ground-based sensors that are helping us with feedback. How do we know when we're influencing the field? And how do we know when we're doing it in a way that is useful to us, that's beneficial? Well, the next layer, the GCI project, the ground-based sensors that are already up and running, the ones that we have now, these are funded by you. This is a citizen science initiative, and I'm going to talk to you about that in just a minute, what that means. But the next layer, it is augmenting, it is supplementing the random number generators, and now an exciting third new layer of feedback is coming that you're going to hear more about from Rollin McCraty today. So I won't steal too much of his thunder, but it is the tree-based sensors, and this is where you have the opportunity to participate if you'd like to host those tree-based sensors. It is another level of information that is sending detailed information back to the computer servers at the Institute of HeartMath, and it's from these three levels of sensors and information that we are able to further explore. And this is an ongoing project. This is new territory, uncharted. We were taught that we don't influence the planet. And now this project is proving that we can do so in a healthy, positive way at any time, but especially during times of need. And this is why I'm so excited about this project. If you've been with me at all in this is the 36th year I've offered my work in one form or another. If you've been with me at all, you know that I have recognized as a scientist, as a geophysicist, I tend to look at the big picture, big cycles of time. We're living a rare convergence of multiple cycles that are upending everything that we have held as constant in our lives. Climate cycles are involved in this. Economic cycles are involved in this. Cycles of human conflict. They're all coming together right now. And if you don't know that, it can look like a really scary world. It looks like the world is just coming apart at the seams. If you recognize the cycles, what you recognize is that they are very intense and they're brief. They don't drag on forever. And it's during that intensity that the choices are made, the policies are enacted, and the ways of building a society are created that determine our lives from this point forward. We've got this precious window of time to positively influence the outcome of this convergence of cycles. GCI is helping us to know when we are feeding the field in a healthy way. And that's why I believe in this project. I support this project. I am on the steering committee for this project. And I so appreciate you and all you're doing to support this project. Now, I want to take this to the next level. I mentioned citizen scientists. I'm going to invite Claudia Welss to speak with us about citizen science. Before I do, I want you to know who she is, a little bit professionally and then also on a personal level. Claudia, we are so lucky to have her with us today. She is the board chairman of IONS, the Institute of Noetic Sciences. She's on the board of the Institute of HeartMath's Global Coherence Initiative. I'm not surprised by that. She's also the co-founder of Global Coherence Pulse and many other programs, far too many to go into today. I'm going to invite you to check it out and see all of the places where Claudia is leading in ways that behind the scenes, you may not be seeing it, but if she weren't there, it's her organizational skills, her vision, her dedication, her perseverance to contributing to this planet and to this world and to the people of this world and our global family in a positive way. She is a contributing author to the 2020 Gold Nautilus award-winning book, Our Moment of Choice. And I'm really excited about that. I'm also a contributing author to that project, and it's getting a lot of recognition. And Claudia, I'm so honored to be sharing the stage with you today. So Claudia, please, I'm so excited to welcome you to this virtual stage. I'm excited to hear what you're going to share about citizen scientists. And if I forgot to mention, Claudia is also a citizen scientist herself. So Claudia, I'm going to turn this wonderful audience over to you. It's all yours. Thank you for being with us today. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Gregg. And thank you everyone for being here, and happy Global Coherence Day. Gregg, it's so nice to have you back on the pulse, and thank you for always reminding us how the coherence within us becomes the coherence around us. And you were just sharing where you thought the idea that humans could influence the magnetic fields of an entire planet came from. And I'd like to share something about where citizen science came from, because I really believe it's going to require communities like ours to demonstrate the truth of that scientifically. So citizen science isn't exactly new, depending on your reference point, I guess. One of the first recorded uses was in 1989, when a couple of hundred volunteers in the US collected rain samples for the Audubon Society in an acid rain awareness raising campaign. And those of us old enough to remember the first time we heard about acid rain might remember what a startling shift in awareness it was to realize that life-giving rain, nature's most purified water, was being made acidic by atmospheric pollution and was actually causing harm to forests and lakes and human health. I remember how it changed the way I saw rain, the way I felt about catching rain on my tongue. And it confirmed my intuition about how we were treating our planet, allowing me to act from a new awareness. So while citizen science isn't exactly new, it's also not old. Science has been largely off limits to non-experts since the scientific revolution, so for centuries. But citizen science is changing that by allowing public participation in scientific research. And why does that matter? Well, consider a recent book on citizen science defines citizen science as scientists and citizen communities working together to advance science by encouraging democratic engagement in ways that allows society to deal better with complex modern problems. And in the 21st century, we don't just have complex modern problems, we have what are sometimes referred to as super wicked problems, because they're both personal and systemic, they're both local and global, and because there's no central external authority capable of saving us from them, if there ever was. And so here's the opportunity in our challenge. Here may be why evolution is pushing us to this breaking point. We're being pushed, invited, to finally realize our own central internal authority, the human heart, our own inner agency for resetting our lives and our collective reality simultaneously. And on the way, help to scientifically demonstrate the power of our own hearts to disrupt the narrative that's holding the current scientific paradigm based on fundamental separation in place. More fundamental to healing our world than preventing acid rain or any other single social or environmental crisis is holding ourselves, which is what heart coherence does. Acid rain is, after all, only a symptom. The cause is the incoherence within humanity that keeps us at odds with nature, at odds with each other, and that allows history to keep repeating itself. So when I shared earlier that I remember when I first recognized the harm caused by acid rain and the powerful shift of awareness that came with it, well, that was nothing compared to the shift in awareness that came with realizing the harmony caused by the coherence of my own heart, not just within myself, but within the world around me. And that my coherence, realizing that my coherence could add to the planet's resilience while adding to my own. Don't we already know this in our hearts already? Still, for me, the science gave me the courage and the tools to believe it in an actionable way. And there may be others like me. And it changed my awareness of myself and of humanity's potential. And I still describe that change of awareness as life-saving. So while the science isn't necessary for everyone, HeartMath's core practice for cultivating coherence is based on over 3 decades of scientific research. And this same science and practice are at our core. And with those at our core, the Pulse is a free and open citizen science initiative, a social collaboration backed by a scientific collaboration to help science tell a new story of our oneness with all life. But that's not the main reason we're doing it. We're actually doing this to create a critical mass of islands of coherence, and we always talk about this, those islands of coherence that are capable of shifting the complex system that is our world to a higher order. The physical chemist Ilya Prigogine demonstrated something similar in a lab, and we want to demonstrate it on the street. I really appreciate the words of Roger Nelson here. Roger is the founder of the Global Consciousness Project and the person who analyzes the output of the random number generator networks for our pulses, and who I hope is with us today, because he reminds us to respect the tentative place that this new science occupies right now on the way to learning more about how all of this works. And meanwhile, we get on with doing the right thing. We get on with doing the right thing, which in our case is feeding the field with coherent heart energy, love, compassion, gratitude, appreciation, on the way to helping science demonstrate the world-changing power of the human heart. So thanks so much to each of you from all of us for bringing your hearts, your coherence, or just your curiosity to this community. And now I'm going to ask Rollin McCraty to come on. Dr. Rollin McCraty is the Director of Research at the HeartMath Institute and the Global Coherence Initiative, and a co-founder of the Global Coherence Pulse. He's a psychophysiologist who's been with HeartMath since the beginning in like 1991, and is a driving force behind so much of this world-changing research. Rollin, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Claudia. What a wonderful description of citizen science. I totally agree with you. It's so important if we're going to move the paradigm of science past its current, maybe siloed perspectives might be one way to kindly say it. Just to give a little clarity before I talk about my main topic today, which is actually pretty exciting because it's been a project that's been many years in the making, the tree project that I'm going to discuss. That there are really 3 kind of intersecting and overlapping, well, not really overlapping, but synergistic projects that we've been involved in. One, Gregg has talked a lot about, which is the magnetometer sensor system that the first one was about 14 years ago, and we now have, in fact, it's the only time-synchronized global monitoring system that really looks at the resonant frequencies in the Earth's magnetic fields. It's specifically designed to do that. So we're able to really, a lot of publications in some pretty high-level scientific journals in the last couple of years have really been published out of that, showing not only how we are affected by the resonant frequencies and rhythms in the Earth's magnetic field, but how it's actually a mechanism that helps us get in sync with others and with the Earth itself. Some really surprising results have come out of that. So I'm really quite excited that that science is now being published and becoming more public. The second thing is, Claudia also mentioned, the Global Consciousness Project, which was founded by Dr. Roger Nelson, probably close to 22, 23 years ago, and at Princeton. And Roger's now retiring, and I'm really honored to say that he's asked the HeartMath Institute become the new home base for that project. So we're taking that on and working collaboratively with Dr. Nelson and also Claudia and other folks from IONS, their scientific community, as well as other scientists from around the world, different universities and things, to really, in fact, we're in a phase right now of doing some much more in-depth research on a research network we specifically designed to really ask new questions about that project. And this is the global network of random number devices that clearly has shown over the last 20 years to respond in a measurable way to events that evoke a lot of emotion from humans globally, that's somehow affecting these devices distributed globally. And most of us believe that this really is measuring the effect of our consciousness on the global field at a global level. So in the version 2 that we're calling it, we're really going to make this much more of a citizen scientist project as well. So we're in the process now of designing new devices that will make it very easy for anybody in the world to become involved and host one of these devices. Now that's going to be a while off, a few months. We're getting close to finalizing the design of that, but it's going to be a lot easier to get involved, and we think we'll have a much more sensitive system. Then the third arm, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now for this last part, is the global tree monitoring. Let's see. Okay. There we go. Get this. Hopefully you're able to see that. Okay. So this, one of our hypotheses with the GCI, or the Global Coherence Initiative, is that we all live within the magnetic fields of the Earth and also of the Sun, and that those fields connect all living systems, and that we communicate information via those fields. Now, I won't go into a lot of the scientific detail. I've had many presentations in the past on the pulse and otherwhere on that. So trees are an awesome part of living systems. I mean, there's so much really incredible research on trees that has come out in the last few years that I'm sure a lot of you are aware of, really showing, I think, is really why nature thrives in plants and trees. This new work is just overturning so many old paradigms, but trees cooperate across species. They know their kin. They have more sensory systems to understand the environment they live in than we do as humans. And they're incredibly cooperative. I think we have a lot to learn from nature and the way trees and plants really cooperate together to really thrive the way they do. So there's been all this work with the biochemical aspect of trees and these types of things, but very little research has been done looking at the electrical activity. And now this is something we can actually measure at a global level. So what we're introducing now is this global network that will become a global network for monitoring the electrical potential of trees. So this is just an example of what I mean. These are two trees here on our property in Central California. And so what we see here is a redwood and an oak tree monitored over a couple of months' time. And you can see that they have very rich and dynamic electrical lives and potentials. They have circadian rhythms, a day-night rhythm. That's the sine wavy looking things that you see here. So very little is really understood about these electrical potentials generated by trees. And if you look at the scale that's in millivolts here, that may not mean a lot to a lot of you, but that is huge. This is the similar voltage level when we measure human electrocardiograms, the heartbeat of people. So trees are generating these same relatively high magnitude signals. So this is quite surprising, and I've yet to have any. Let me put it this way: I've talked to many physiologists about plant physiologists, and no one really understands how trees do this yet. So the Global Tree Monitoring Network, which I'm inviting those of you that want to become involved in the future, is pretty simple. And although it took us years, far more years, to really develop the technology than I thought it would, it's actually very complex technology. But we have basically little, sensor units that go on the tree itself that then measure the electrical potential of the trees and send that data then to your base station in your house, which then connects with your local Wi-Fi network, which then connects with the internet and back to the central server. And at the server level, then you'll be able to see your own trees data, but also the data from all the other trees around the world. And as a citizen scientist project, not only can you host a site and be involved that way, but we're also making the data freely available to anybody who wants to do their own type of analysis and look at this kind of data. And it's amazing. There are some really smart people out there, not just trained scientists, who have unique ways of looking at the data, understanding it, making connections that we may not even see, on the scientific side. So that's the basics of how the system works. Some of the key research questions we want to be asking from this network once it's really out there at a global level is, do the electrical responses in multiple trees correlate to events that trigger an emotional outpouring in large numbers of people. Lessons learned here from the Global Consciousness Project that Dr. Nelson found. From a science perspective, and what we would say an N of one, or one event doesn't really mean anything. But when you are able to look at lots of events over lots of time, over a long time period, especially from a lot of trees globally, then we can start building the case. So do we see trees respond similar to what the random number generators of the Global Consciousness Project do? Do we see trees respond when we see changes in the Earth's magnetic fields? These are the types of questions we'll be able to ask that are new. So not only will we have physical devices like the random number generators, and also devices measuring the Earth's magnetic field or the resonant frequencies, but we'll actually have other living systems. And then, of course, we've also doing studies involved with people. So I hope this has given you a sense of really where we're going with this, really being able to put this all together. Another thing that's really interesting to me that is sort of a side benefit of this project is the potential for trees to warn us of earthquakes that might be coming. Now, there's some great research that's already been done that suggests this is not a far out idea. Some work in Japan has actually shown that trees can respond up to 2 weeks before larger earthquakes. Now, the reason for this, and one of our partners is, I like to think of him as the grandfather of pre-earthquake signal research, has actually shown how when rocks under pressure, like in an earthquake fault, they turn into batteries. I'm going to keep this simple. It's a very complex chemical model. And this is not piezoelectric effects for the scientists in the crowd, but sustained current generators. And trees are a great way to measure what's going on in the earth because of their root system. So in each one of the tree monitors, we're not only measuring the potential of the tree, but also what's going on in the earth because of the tree. So there's what we call 2 channels in each device. So that's kind of what this is really about. And so we're really just launching this to the public. As I said, it took us many years to develop this. Now, a little bit of caveats here. We're going to release, we have 50 units we've built, and we want those to go to what we call, or I call, friends and family. In other words, this is brand new. No one has ever attempted to do anything like this before. And it's, as I was saying, it's a very complex system and all the communication links. And we've already kind of seen in our initial research that we don't always know what we don't know. So in these first 50 units to the friends and family, what I'm inviting is those that would consider yourself in that kind of a group that don't mind if not everything works perfectly. I mean, we're not anticipating big problems or anything, but stuff will come up. It always does when you do something new that you just couldn't anticipate, although we've spent a lot of time and work trying to really think through any kind of issues like that. So the first 50, we will keep it in the United States because of this, because if we have to do troubleshooting or anything like that. And then the next round of devices we make, we'll release internationally. Now, if you're international and would like to get involved in this, please go ahead and let us know. We'll get you on the top of the list for the next round of devices, which we're already starting to build. So here's the website. It's treerhythms.net. Now, there is a little work. It's not horrendous, but you have to, put the electrodes in the tree, and there's solar panels that power the devices and so on. It's in most people's capability to install one of these. But if you want to see the installation guide, you can just go to the website and look up for installation guide, but here's the direct link on the second link, just to get a sense of what's involved in hosting a site and the types of, or the size of trees we want and these types of things. And if you do want to host a tree site, here's the form or application form. And if it looks like you qualify, you have a tree of the right size and so on, and then we'll contact you and go on more level discussion, and hopefully you'll be one of our first 50 sites. Now, there is a cost for these. That's $600, and this is actually quite a bit below what it costs us to make these. So this is really being supported by funding from the public and supporters. A lot of donors have really made this possible for the last, we're really 5 years we've been working on this. So it's really, really great to be finally at the point we can release these and start this new paradigm of research. So again, my invitation Please get involved. And if you're also wanted to be involved in the global consciousness, the new generation of those devices, that'll be later this year, hopefully. You can also let us know about that, and we'll put you on a list for those as well. So with that said, I would like to now introduce Howard Martin and Deborah Rozman, who are going to lead us through the meditation. Debbie and Howard are both on the steering committee for GCI, or the Global Coherence Initiative, and were there right from the beginning when we first founded the initiative. They're very good friends and supporters of the project. Both Debbie and Howard are with HeartMath Inc., who does a lot of who builds the sensors and the devices and does a great amount of work in hospitals, corporations, and consumer type programs and things for the world. Is really helping add a lot of heart to the world. But before Howard and Debbie come on live, we're going to have a little musical pause. So to really get us in the right mood for the meditation.
Thank you, Rollin, and congratulations. It's a big milestone.
Hello, everyone. Now we're getting in our hearts in the mood to shift to a heart meditation. I want to welcome you all to this whole coherence pulse. I'm Deborah Rozman, and I'm so honored to have been involved with the Global Coherence initiatives since we launched it many years ago. And what I want to talk about before we actually start our heart care focus, as we call it, and Global Coherence Initiative every month puts out a full moon synchronized care focus, and you can become part of that to put the heart energy of heart coherence and be a coherence emissary and build that throughout the planet. I'm going to talk about the shift energies. And again, that's sort of a global term for energies coming into the planetary field from the universe, as well as what Gregg talked about, Rollin talked about, Claudia talked about. There's just a lot of changing energies, and they're affecting us. They're affecting our emotions mostly. They're amplifying our heart coherence. So the opportunity for us to come together in heart coherence and pulse the planet, those energies can be amplified to increase our coherent impact. And at the same time, as we see in the news, they're amplifying our separations, our prejudices, our polarizing biases. All this is coming to the surface because it has to, in order to move to the next level, to be healed by the heart. Thus, incoherence can be revealed and can be healed by our heart coherence. And all of it is really showing us our common humanity in our hearts and our emotions. So this environment, and being amplified even more by the pandemic, which is really affecting all of us across the globe, is an opportunity. If we look at it as an opportunity to go deeper in our hearts, to practice ourselves individually more inclusive care and respect and cooperation and compassion, because we individually need to grow in our coherence baseline. And that happens as we actually release more of our separations, get past the limitations of our personal viewpoints and our preferences, have them, but understanding we can still love and care and have compassion and respect each other's differences and diversity without creating separation. And that's really the challenge for each of us, because we have all been brought up with a lot of hand-me-down programs and patterns and information. And we have to step into the choice to release separations as they come up in our consciousness and have that deep heart intention and power to shift those habits. It is possible for us to go to another level of personal, social, and eventually global coherence as we each take responsibility to shift our energies, to shift into more of that compassionate latitude for each other. So I want to share something that HeartMath founder Doc Childrey said. And it's in this current care focus, if you have seen it. And if not, I think it's worth underlying that we've tried everything else to get along with each other, except using our heart's intuitive guidance and care. And more people are realizing this is the missing piece in our interactions and our quest for personal, social, and global solutions. We can each make a conscious practice to release the habits of separation from our own consciousness. And it starts with asking our hearts, where am I being too judgmental of people or keeping them at arm's length with separation or bias? And maybe not even conscious of it. This could be another person you work with, someone in the family, a relative, a group, a religion, a race. We all have these subconscious filters that as we clear them, we have more power to pulse ourselves, our environment, and the planet with true heart coherence. So practice radiating heart qualities such as acceptance, compassion, non-judgment, and forgiveness helps release those separating blocks in ourselves, in our energy field. And it has a cumulative effect that facilitates us, our health, our families, our communities, and ultimately our nations to open our hearts more and listen respectfully to each other's views. It's getting more obvious that the more we shut off our hearts to each other, the worse the world situation gets. And life is calling, shouting for a change. which is up to us individually and collectively. And the effectiveness of collective heart power is still in its early stages. Yet the stress and the anxiety and the depression in society is inspiring, motivating more people to go deeper in the hearts, to find solutions that the mind without the heart can't deliver. So as we bring our heart, mind, emotions into more coherent alignment and allow more spirit and heart energy to move through our personal and our collective intentions, as we pulse the planet with our heart coherence, then co-creative solutions have a chance to be drawn in to emerge. But we start with our own care and compassion. So I want to introduce Howard Martin to share the heart meditation and the theme, which is releasing separation. Howard?
Looks like you
Howard,
need to
you're on mute.
unmute.
Thanks so much, Deborah. So much appreciate everybody's contribution so far to this amazing event. Love everything that's been said. And I'm honored to be a part of Global Coherence Day here with each and every one of you. It's also been really fun to watch the chat as we've been going through this time together and seeing that there are literally people from all around the world who have joined this event. And that puts us in a place right now with a great opportunity to use our collective heart-focused care and intention, to use it as a way of uplifting the human spirit, to use it as a way of bringing in more of the new energies that are needed to facilitate the unfoldment of this new and different world that we're all seeing, and that the discussions we've had today with Gregg and Rollin and Deborah and Claudia and all indicate so much amazing work is happening. And how do we bring that now deeper into the street, deeper into the hearts of people? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lead us through a meditation. It'll take about 15 or 20 minutes. Along the way, there will be times where there'll be nothing but silence, and that will allow us to make a deeper connection with our hearts and increase our radiational power. This is a time right now in our program today, in our time together, to use it as a service to humanity. We'll benefit from it ourselves, but let's use this as a time to bring this forward into the world in a way that can help where it's most needed. So to begin, what I'd like to invite you to do is to get comfortable, of course, and then to close your eyes. And I'd like you to center yourself in the heart, right in the core of your being, right in the center of your chest. And then as you center there, I'd like you to breathe the feeling of appreciation in and out through the area of your heart. This will help to warm your heart and increase your focus. And we'll do that for a few minutes together right now. Now let's take it to the next level. I'd like you to connect with your heart's intention to create more feelings of acceptance, compassion, and care in all of your interactions with others, and of course within yourself. As you do this over time, it can progressively increase the emotional stability and resilience that we all need during these times. And it can also prevent some of the accumulating stress that happens in our life. So right now, just connect with your heart's intention to create more feelings of acceptance, compassion, and care in your interactions with others and within yourself. Just gently stay with the connection to your heart. Manifesting that intention to create more feelings of acceptance, compassion, and care. Now let's visualize our collective heart energy being created by all of us all around the world, helping to stabilize the chaotic emotional energies that feed the separations and biases within individuals and leaders, and block the effective solutions that are really what's needed for the best for the whole. So let's use this collective heart power right now to help stabilize this chaotic emotional energy that feeds separation. Now, I'd like us all to envision enough people opening their hearts and setting aside their differences to create a more heart-based world. And just know that as more hearts open, there's a natural inner prompting to create ways to get along with each other, to cooperate and to co-create solutions that benefit us all, because that's who we truly are. So just envision enough people opening their hearts, setting aside the differences, and creating a more heart-based world. You stay with it, stay with the gentle radiation from your heart, envisioning enough people opening their hearts to create a more heart-based world. Now, as we feel this connection and collective heart opening that we have right now, let's close by radiating our compassion and our care to all who are suffering hardships during these present global challenges.
Thank you so much, Howard. Let's stay in this beautiful space of pulsing the field with our heart coherence, our tsunami of love, as we have Manose come and play some music for us to continue to open our heart and pulse the field. Manose, love to have you come on.
Sometimes soft, sometimes strong. This is how we sing our song. Hallelujah, hallelujah, sometimes soft, sometimes strong. This is how we sing our song. Sometimes soft, sometimes strong. This is how we sing our song. Time is but a dream. We were boat upon the stream. This is how we pass our days. Petal falls upon the way. Together. Hallelujah. Gratitude, gratitude, appreciation, love, compassion. To your parents, to your kids, to the animals, every being in this world. Sometimes soft, sometimes strong. This is how we sing our song.
Bless you, Brother Manose. Love you so much. Manose will play one more time for us before we close up today. Thank you for joining us. So beautiful. I'd like to ask all of our speakers to turn on their cameras. I'll go to gallery view. And I also brought a little surprise on. I saw Roger Nelson was with us. So I thought we would bring him on. Hi, Roger. Why don't you unmute your mic? I know you were with us on one of the last pulses during World Unity Week and had a beautiful experience, and it's nice to see you here. I'd love to have you share something with us.
I love getting here. This is because here we are. it's absolutely heartwarming and a teaching for me. There was a message. Was that important?
No, go ahead.
So I love being reminded and assisted in opening my heart. And so I'm a self-taught sort of meditator. And I'm thinking there are so many wonderful ways to do this, so many ways to come closer to our potential. To think about it is to make it be. It may take a while, but to envision a future with love coming out more often and more completely, more freely, that'll happen. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here.
Thank you, buddy.
We love you, Roger. We appreciate so
Well,
much.
great
all that
surprise.
you've done over the years. It's lovely to have you. I'm going to open up the mic for anyone, Deborah or Roland. I asked people if they would share in the chat what they were feeling in their heart as we came out of that meditation. Such beautiful sharing, some sadness as well as joy, very tender. I'm feeling all of those things myself. And Deborah, how about you? Just want to bring your voice in.
Thank you. I just have a tremendous amount of compassion and joy together, understanding what all of us are experiencing right now. One day our moods can be up and the next day they can be challenged. And knowing that we're all in this together, but that's part of the acceleration and the growth and co-creation, and just keep going back to the heart. We have a term at HeartMath, we remind each other, straight line back to the heart. And we keep practicing that and then putting the heart out, and that helps lift our vibration and each other. And again, right back to compassionate latitude for what everyone in this world is going through, because it's an incredible opportunity with the heart. And thank you for inviting me to be part of this.
Beautiful. Howard, that was a lovely meditation. Love the long stretches of silence. It's so important that we have an opportunity to do that. Thank you for offering your love. And I wondered if you had a few words you wanted to share.
Yeah, I would. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. This whole event has been wonderful. And, I think that if you think about the theme of that meditation, really the essence of it was learning to get along, reducing the separations and the judgments and the biases that often are so part of life right now. And it might seem idealistic, but my belief is we can learn to get along and have these same feelings in our daily interactions, and we can make this a part of life for the world, as time goes on. And that a meditation like that facilitates that greatly, because no love is ever wasted. It all counts and it all contributes and it all creates that connection. And so I encourage every one of us that's been a part of this call to take that feeling we have right now of connection, of less separation, and move that forward into our day, carry that forward into life with the hope and the heart-based intention that the world begins to operate more that way. Because the key to the next level of unfoldment and to finding the solutions to the many challenges that we seem to all face lies really in learning to get along better, learning to see each other heart to heart through the eyes of the heart. And as we do that more, life will change. And that's my wish for everybody. And I really appreciate you having me and for being with everyone else today to lead a meditation.
Thank you, Howard. Beautiful. And Rollin, congratulations on the launch of the tree monitoring project. Boy, we've been waiting for that for a while. And trees have been my greatest teacher. And I have a feeling they're really going to teach us a lot about our impact, around their impact. It's going to be really exciting.
Thank you, Teresa. I love trees too. I'm so fortunate, as are you, I know, Teresa, to live in the redwoods, the forest of kind of the big daddies of the biofields of nature. I can certainly feel them whenever I walk out my home in the morning into the forest. And I would just, in any closing comments here, echo kind of what has already been said by Debbie and Howard. and really proceed everything with love. Because if we can really do that, that's easier said than done. But if that is what really raises us above, out of our judgments or biases, many of which are unconscious, in the patterns and old habits we've fallen into. But what a neat new habit to develop, because that automatically helps lift us above, and not only for our own benefit, but it's really what we're feeding the field, both locally and as I think we're all working together scientifically to prove globally as well. And that helps all living systems, everything on the planet. As Howard said, no love is ever wasted.
Thank you, Rollin. So beautiful. And, you can feel we've been pulsing now since spring of 2020. So we really have been doing this over a period of time. And you can feel that the community that's been joining with us has really been dropping deeper and deeper. And you can feel it in the field in a powerful way. And Claudia, I wonder if you want to come on. I always love your encouragement about us being citizen scientists. We really are. And we really get to tell this new story about the power of the human heart and that we really can make a difference. And you're always such a beautiful representation of that.
Oh, thanks, Teresa. And thank you so much too for bringing us all together and creating such a wonderful program for all these many months. I just want to key in on that phrase too, no love is ever wasted, because it really speaks to what we're about. It's so clear that giving love out, even when we don't see it reflected back, is what's going to make the change. Because many of us were conditioned, well, if you love and you don't get love back, if the world isn't giving you a reason to love, or the world isn't giving you a reason to be grateful, or the world isn't giving you something to appreciate, then you don't feel it. But we are able to embody those coherent emotions by choice. We don't need to wait for the world to give us a reason. And then when we do embody those emotions by choice, because it's all one, and because we're always speaking with the universe, then our reality starts to shift. I also just want to say the comments on the chat have been so wonderful today. They always are, but my favorite one today is from Zoom user who said, I don't speak English, but I'm with you. And that was just so perfect, because obviously language isn't the most important thing that or way that we're communicating today. It's the silent language of the heart. So thank you. Thank you all for being here, my GCI crew.
Beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and share a video. It's a brand new video from Global Coherence Initiative, and it tells a little bit about this road to coherence that the Global Coherence Initiative has been on. And I'm going to follow that with some announcements. I'm going to put some links in the chat, so please stay on. And if you're interested in connecting with other people who have been on the call today, there'll be a link to join an optional Zoom meeting line so that you can have a little time in breakouts. So let's go ahead and play that video. I'll put some links in the chat, and please stay with us just a little longer. And we'll also hear from Manose one more time before we go.
At the HeartMath Institute, our mission is to help awaken the heart of humanity and to empower people of all ages and backgrounds to connect more deeply with the intuitive guidance of their own hearts. People are increasingly realizing the important role intuition plays in becoming who they truly are. Founded in 1991 by Doc Childry, we have developed a system of scientifically validated techniques based on our study of heart rate variability and heart-brain interactions. A key discovery from this research is heart coherence, an optimal state in which the heart, mind, and emotions are cooperating together in harmony rather than in competition and discord. Through the practice of coherence-building techniques, people are able to create and sustain their life with significantly less stress, clearer choices, and more resilience, resulting in increased authentic connection with others. Research conducted at the HeartMath Institute is proving the credibility of heart coherence for facilitating sustainable change on a personal, social, and global level. With over 400 peer-reviewed or independent studies and over 11,000 citations in Google Scholar, HeartMath Institute has made significant contributions to the scientific community's understanding of stress and emotions. Key areas of study include increasing resilience, activating intuitive connection, and revealing the benefits of global interconnectivity. Our interconnectivity research, featuring live scientific data streams, is umbrellaed under our Global Coherence initiative. This is an international effort that seeks to facilitate the shift in global consciousness from instability and discord to compassionate care, cooperation, and increasing peace. The Global Coherence app, monitoring system, global consciousness, and tree research projects allow worldwide participation while informing our research. Another core facet of our mission is empowering children, teens, and college students to build more heart-centered lives with a natural flow of compassion, self-security, and resilience. Our e-learning programs aim to motivate and engage students in learning as they gain practical, social, and emotional self-regulation skills. Through heart rhythm feedback, HeartMath Coherence technology products provide a clear window into our emotional states. People worldwide are learning to take charge of how they feel, think, and act, reducing the negative effects of stress and gaining deeper states of calm, resilience, and emotional balance. We also offer certification programs for those with a desire to teach or mentor others in learning and applying the HeartMath skill set. Courses include creating more effective team performance, building resilience, and increasing emotional health and stability. We've also created an effective trauma course that is gaining significant attention due to the stress of these changing times. As a 501c3 nonprofit organization, the generosity of our donors helps us maintain and grow our special charitable outreach projects, serving and supporting those who need it most. HeartMath Institute members offer invaluable support in furthering HMI's mission. They also receive access to an array of meaningful and informative resources to help them advance to their next level of spiritual awareness. We also offer numerous free resources on our website for the benefit of all who visit. We are at the dawn of recognizing love as the new transformational intelligence. This is the heartbeat of our research, training programs, initiatives, tools, and technologies to help awaken and activate humanity's capacity to love. We are the HeartMath Institute. Thanks for taking the time to learn more.
Wonderful. There's a number of new videos on the HeartMath Institute page. I put a link there to their video gallery, some wonderful ones, some tools for broadcasting love, some others, so some important opportunities to learn more and really appreciate the tools that HeartMath Institute and the Global Coherence Initiative are providing. So I'm going to share my screen just quickly and do a few announcements of some things that are coming up that you might want to know. And then we'll hear from our friend Manose as a final offering. So one of the things, this is the page that I put a link to for the other videos that HeartMath has available in their pretty extensive video gallery. So please check it out if you're wanting to share this with friends or get them involved at all in the work that we're doing. Rollin is going to be doing another series on Awake TV Network. There's actually quite a few shows that are already available from last year. And he's going to be doing a new series, and that's coming up soon. So there's a link there to the Awake TV Network. If you're on the HeartMath email list or on the Global Coherence Pulse email list, you'll also get some notification of that coming up. Really excited about that, Rollin. And of course, the Global Coherence app, if you want to download that, you can get that in the App Store or in the Google Play Store. And pretty soon there'll be some new advances in the app, but it's a nice one when we come on these calls that we see you on the map. Today, the app was down, I think, but it's really awesome for us to be able to do that and start to track our levels of coherence together. We are going to do something special for those of you that are using the app and have the sensor. We are going to have a special session on Thursday, September 2nd at 11 a.m. Pacific. And we're going to talk about using the app and sensor. And following that event, we'll record it. So if you can't come live, we'll make that available. And then we're going to follow those with some practice sessions where we can come together, those of us that are using the app and sensors, so that we can begin to learn how to use them more effectively, and we can start to see the coherence levels that we have as we do those together. So look forward to seeing those of you who want to do that. And if you haven't gotten a sensor yet and you're feeling like, gosh, I really want to do that, this is a wonderful time to do it, because HeartMath Institute is offering 25% off on all of their technology products and books and games. And so if you go to the link that I put in there for the store, you'll see that there's a summer sale, and that's going to last until August 16th. So if this is the time where you're thinking, you know, I really want to try that sensor, I really want to begin to tune into my own coherence levels more fully, and you'd like to join in this community who's using the app and sensor, this is a great time. Our next Global Coherence Pulse, we have it the third Saturday of every month. And this is also a month where we will be co-hosting the Saturday Night Alive event as well. So that's in a few Saturdays from now. And the theme for that is the new science, the new story, and the new song. We'll have Gregg Braden back with us again, Jude Curvin, number of others. Exciting day for us to be celebrating and practicing and cultivating coherence together. And then the Islands of Coherence Network. This is a place where, you know, you have access to the monthly pulses. We have weekly meditation and breakout groups. There's coherence related resources there, topics that you can engage in, and a community of practice. So we encourage you, if you want to stay connected in between these events, to join the Islands of Coherence. There's a place for you to have a profile. You can connect with other organizations that are doing good works in the world, all in one dashboard, a wonderful opportunity for us to grow a purposeful learning community together. And we begin together to add the resources on, you know, healing trauma and having vibrant health and resources. Not only do our guests have wonderful information, but we have great information to share with each other. And this is a place that we can do that. And a personal vision for me is I love doing these virtual events, but I am really hoping and planning that in the summer of 2022 that we actually come together again for a virtual, for an in-person retreat and also a virtual simulcast. So hold that with me that we're going to be able to actually hug in person. And then again, as I said, if you'd like to stay on afterwards, there's a link there for a Zoom, and we'll have about a half an hour in some breakout groups. So that is our announcements for today. And I would love to bring Manose Newa back on for a moment. Manose, my friend. First, see if there's anything you'd like to share. I know you just came off of one of your own community gatherings that happens every Sunday. So nice that you were able to join us for both. And yeah, love you and so appreciate all you're doing on the planet to bring more love and care and peace and calm with your music and with your presence.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation, Claudia, Rollin, everybody here. You know, it's so nice to be with you all and feel the heart. And I would love to share this new song with you. And it talks about heart. Can you hear my keyboard?
Yes.
Okay. I lay the flowers at your golden feet. Lit the candles along your holy streets. Climbed the mountain to through your golden peaks. Drank the waters from your descending creeks, and I here with it. Speak, speak your heart. Speak your heart. Speak your heart. I sit by your rivers. They've never stopped singing your songs. Naked and untouched, like other side of moon. Love, love that never, never fades away. Like 10,000 lotus shades. I close my eyes, feeling your embrace. I walk in your land, kissed by the grace, and I here with it. Speak, speak your heart. Speak your heart. Speak your heart. Speak your heart.
Thank you, Manose. Thank you, everyone. Remember, it's Global Coherence Day. So let's continue to pulse the field with this beautiful love all day and every day. Thank you so much. See you on the breakout if you'd like to join us. Love you all.